My computer recently developed this super annoying loud mechanical noise. Just listen. In this video I'm going to show you where it's coming from, what's causing it, and what I'm going to do about it to fix it. This noise is not coming from the speaker is off. When I turn it on, the green LED comes on, and yeah, so that's off again. So it's not coming from the speaker, it's not static. It's a mechanical noise coming from a fan. There are two fans and a hard drive. The hard drive rotates. There's also a disk drive here. There's nothing in it. And I have removed on this side a couple of body panels which are on the ground here. Oops, next to the keyboard. So that's panel there and another panel that covers the power supply unit. The following fans can be seen here on this side. This fan here is the one that's noisy. I placed it on a table and I completely removed it from the power supply unit just for the purposes of this video, as well as to isolate the noise. So the power supply unit with those wire coils and those wires is now exposed. You can see one other fan running there, which is cooling the heatsink of the processor there. And underneath the disk drive there is the hard drive. So the noise wasn't coming from there, as I found out, but is coming from this fan here. If I lift this fan off the resonating hard surface, now it's all nice and quiet. So this fan, very simply, is plugged into the circuit board with that cable thereabouts. So the specs of the fan are printed on it and they can be read off fairly straightforward. It is a DC 12 volt fan manufactured under that whatever Chinese words on it. So it's a 12 volt 0.27 amp fan, and its connectors, if this can be sourced out from elsewhere, its connector needs to look like this, like that, two pieces of wires and with that kind of connector. But even if I don't have, by some miracle, the same fan with exactly the same connector, I'm sure the wire can be cut and two wires can be twisted together to make the electrical connection if I find a fan like this. But I'm not too motivated to find a fan like this, because this noise can be isolated by a simple shock absorber system which looks like this, a folded bandana or some such thing, and a fan can be placed on it and we're done. So that's what I'm gonna do about it. Yes, it's open here in terms of electrical contact hazard, but because this is right next to a bookcase here, and this shock absorber system and everything can slide back there, the gap here is really narrow between the two of them, and they are not really interfering with each other, and the kids are not gonna be reaching in here for anything, and that fan is gonna be working fine there. Just for comparison, what you've seen here, here's another power supply unit which happens to be very similar to the one that I removed. Where is the nameplate on this one? So this is the one that I gutted out. This is obviously bigger, larger, whatever, but it also has a fan in its enclosure, of course, to cool the electrical components. That's a larger fan. This is somewhat smaller. Also has a connector, of course. And so the story about these components is that these can be found, it's a different specifications, but these components can be found somewhere in the dump, I guess. And one day I might come across a fan that's exactly identical to the one that's making the noise. So the bearing on it wears away every so often or whatever after a while, and that one is gone. So that basically concludes my repair, if you can call this repair. But hey, I did troubleshoot, I did isolate that it's not the other fan, it's not the hard drive, it's not the disk drive, it's not anything else. I had to take apart, you know, the screws and everything, and I have a small vial full of screws here that can go back there. It's plastic, it's not contacting anything there, and the fan is circulating enough air. You can see this Ziploc bag here moving, as well as the whole thing is open, so nothing is overheating. With the fan still attached, providing some airflow, I'm really confident about that its electrical properties and cooling properties are all fully functional. So that's fixed. And I'm gonna do absolutely nothing else about it until I come across an identical one that I can just simply plug in there. Yeah, not going to spend any money on it whatsoever. I'll come across one in a weird location one day, I'm sure.